This is Tom, the Disabled Prepper. Welcome back. I'd like to discuss a little bit today about this pervasive and overarching thought that the conservatives have in regards to a second civil war. Now, I've spent a lot of time in research, many hours, researching and reading to find out where I actually stood on this subject. Now, it's commonly believed by the conservatives or the patriots or the constitutionalists, we'll just call them conservatives, or the right, so to speak, all of them together as a group, generally, and especially among the young, that they believe that in the event of a second civil war, that the left would not fight at all, that they're too weak and too afraid. And they also have the tendency, there's also the general consensus that law enforcement is behind the right, that the military is behind the right, and that the right owns all the guns. So that's 4 points that are commonly used as an argument in the event of a civil war that the right will win, in a sense. And my research on the internet and such shows that the right has a tendency to kind of like we're trying to convince ourselves before a football game, yeah, we're the best team, we're going to win, we have this going for us, we're awesome, it's going to be a cakewalk, and there'll be no problem at all for us. However, my research and evidence points to my need that I need to kind of break it to you guys that it's not as clear cut as many will think. Okay, so here's my evidence, and I'm not doing this because I want to denigrate the right or the conservatives or the constitutionalists or the patriots. My intent is to educate and to get you to think. If you're not thinking, if we're not thinking, we are at a disadvantage. And in this part of our society's history, we need some real good thinking and some real good prayer. So anyway, number one, the right owns all the guns. The National Shooting Sports Foundation has issued a recent statement saying that there are nearly 5 million new gun owners in the United States as of 2020. And of course, most of that is because of the burning, looting, and murdering going on in major cities. And generally, us on the right, we have a tendency to believe, yay, more Second Amendment supporters. Nearly 5 million new Second Amendment supporters, and they're on our side. Okay, so I have a list here of the 6 largest liberal or leftist gun groups in the country: Redneck Revolt, John Brown Gun Club, Pink Pistols, Liberal Gun Club, Huey P. Newton Gun Club, and Black Guns Matter. Now, while we may say that the right owns all the guns, of those nearly 5 million new members, new gun owners, that doesn't mean that they're all conservative. Second Amendment, they support the Second Amendment, obviously, because they want to own a firearm and the right to self-defense. But the ranks of these 6 gun clubs has been swelling rapidly over the last few months as the left prepares for the final siege, so to speak. In fact, they even had said on the internet at one point that they had planned a 50-day siege against the White House to, in an attempt, as another attempt, to thwart the election, the re-election of Donald Trump. Okay, so this is the 6th largest, and of course, on top of that, you also have BLM and Antifa. Now, 2 groups that I know a little bit about specifically, 3 actually. John Brown Gun Club actually has an active arm in Phoenix, Arizona. So they put on their brown shirts and they do parades and they do public displays to show that the left is armed as much as the right is. Okay, now the Pink Pistols, I have a friend who shoots with them. They seem to be regular folks. They support the Second Amendment, but they are an LGBTQ XYZ group from their founding. So, even though they may support the Second Amendment under current situations, under current circumstances, I don't believe, and this goes the same for the Black Guns Matter group. Black Guns Matter is a group formed by Maj Touré. Now, the Second Amendment, I believe, applies to all citizens of the United States, regardless of their skin color. So, I have no qualms with blacks owning guns. It's not an issue to me. It's not a problem. It's nothing I need to fear. Black Guns Matter was formed by Maj Touré in order to equalize, and I agree with that, the ownership of guns in the black community equal to what it is in the white community or whatever other communities there are. You know, I don't like to divide. It's in my opinion, we're all Americans, hopefully. Anyway, point being is that Maj Touré and Black Guns Matter and Pink Pistols, if Pink Pistols were exerted any pressure at all by the gay lobby, I believe that they would immediately abandon any support of constitutionality and go towards the leftist policies of the gay lobby, which up to this very point now in time includes the support of pedophilia. The gay lobby is doing almost nothing that I've been able to find to refute that the pedophilia is a welcome part of the sexual revolution. So regardless of my thoughts on homosexuality, my moral thoughts on homosexuality, having the gays support pedophilia is a bad move, so to speak. I believe the gay lobby, if they want any support out of our community, they should speak out against pedophilia, but they're not. So, and Black Guns Matter, I believe any effort at all by, let's say, BLM to exert political or social pressure on Black Guns Matter, I believe Black Guns Matter, like the Pink Pistols, would abandon any concept of constitutionality and would back Black Lives Matter, which is a Marxist group. It has nothing to do with Black lives at all. That's commonly known and accepted anymore. It's the name Black Lives Matter is a facade. Anyway, so number one, the right owns all the guns. That's not true. The nearly 5 million is helping to swell the left just as much as it's helping to swell the right. Now, the military is behind the right. Okay, yes, Donald Trump has done as president, has done a fantastic job of helping to rebuild the military, showing the military respect, and I believe that a vast majority of the military does in fact support Donald Trump because of that. However, that doesn't mean that leftists or liberals did not go through the military. They have the training, just as maybe not in sheer quantity, but in terms of training and knowledge and group tactics and the things that would be needed in a civil war. The left is not bereft of them. The left has them just as much. In fact, the left, Antifa, is known to have sent people to Syria. So they have Civil War training from a country that's been in civil war for who knows how long, forever, probably. The Middle East has been an infighting group of tribes for thousands of years. And if there's anybody that knows how to overturn a civilization or destroy a society, it would be a group in the Middle East, like ISIS, for instance. But anyway, so even if the military is on the side of the conservatives, there is plenty of training and information on the left that will allow them to counter or help them counter any offenses by the right. Offensives, not offenses. Okay, now law enforcement is on the side of the right. Generally speaking, yes, we can kind of assume that. But in my previous video, and I'll put a thing there where you can follow it, where I talked about county sheriffs. Now, county sheriffs, I believe a vast majority of county sheriffs are constitutionally protective. They are going to follow the Constitution and not political sway. City police or town police and state troopers, however, as I noted, have an extra level of political control over their lives, and so there's a far greater potential for city police or state troopers to follow the whims of a governor or a mayor than they are the Constitution. So consequently, assuming that law enforcement is on the side of the right or the conservatives is a false assumption. Now, we may have a greater majority, maybe 55% of LEOs are on the side of the right, but that still is 45% of the LEOs aren't. And also, as has already been shown, a big chunk of LEOs in the larger cities have, according to the research, which I haven't completely been able to verify, many of the LEOs have left the larger cities, have quit the police departments like Chicago and New York and California and Los Angeles, etc., and have moved to smaller towns and have joined militias, which I agree with. But what does that mean? That means in order to fill the ranks of the police officers in those cities, they're going to downgrade the requirements. And what you're going to do is you're going to have police officers who are even less moral than the ones who have already left. So consequently, they're not going to, although police officers are supposed to not be biased or show preference, the sheer fact of the matter that they have to swell those numbers with whatever men they can find is going to increase the potential that police officers, city police officers, and state troopers are going to be biased one way or the other. Consequently, we can't assume that law enforcement is on our side. So we have 3 out of 4 where we can't assume, so far 3 out of 4, where we can't automatically assume that our numbers are going to give us the majority. Now, number 4, the left is too weak and is unwilling to fight. That statement on its own is easily discredited by virtue of the fact that the mobs that have been sweeping through the large cities that took over Chaz Chop or Chum or whatever it was called in Seattle, that was all, and still ongoing in many large cities, is proof that they have absolutely no qualms about death and destruction. They have no qualms about killing innocents. Whether these groups are paid by Soros or any arms of his many shadow companies, or whether they just do it out of the sheer joy of death and destruction, it doesn't matter. They're not conservatives. They're not on the right. They're not constitutionalists. They are there strictly for the anarchy, strictly for the death and destruction. And as has already been shown by the shooting of Steve Scalise, the Berkeley bike lock professor, and many others. I don't want to build a list because it would be large, but point being is that the left has absolutely no qualms about death, destruction, and maiming. They are more than willing to go to any extent to do what they want. That's been proven, and as a final point on this, I believe that that proves that they are not going to just roll over and play dead in the event of a civil war. Now, my videos that I'm still going to do on the It Could Happen Here podcast series in regards to a civil war in the United States, I'm going to bring out more information and more information in that regard, in regards to how the left will operate, and the right will have to operate also accordingly if it becomes at that level. So anyway, so that's basically all the information I wanted to present to you today. I want you to understand and think about what is actually happening. This isn't going to be a cakewalk. We're not going to be handed this election. This is not assured. None of this is sure. As preppers, as patriots, as citizens, we need to prepare for the very worst that could happen, and that includes a civil war. If we're going to hopefully retain our constitutional republic, if we're going to retain that and continue to live under the rules of the Constitution, we've got a tough fight ahead of us. Okay, I need to stop. Anyway, if you like my videos, if you think they have value, like them, share them, subscribe, comment, tell me how great my hair looks. I shaved for you a couple of days ago, and just because I want to look good for my subscribers. I have 69 subscribers now. As soon as I get 70, I'm going to do another giveaway. So maybe we can find someone who wants to watch. But anyway, thanks for watching. Share my videos, comment, like, subscribe. And most importantly, remember, keep your nose in the wind and your eyes along the skyline. Till we meet again.